Starting streaming. All right, we are streaming. Perfecto. All right, let's get into it.
Give me 1 second.
All right, finish your coffee.
All right, I was just pulling up the YouTube stream.
Excellent. Looks good?
Looks good.
Looks good. All right, so when we left our intrepid explorers last time, we'd set it up. It was recording my audio, and then fairly every kind of other time it tried to run Whisper, we got this FFmpeg error. I will save you some deep rabbit holes I went into trying to parse the actual FFmpeg error. Went down a number of fascinating holes around the C code for FFmpeg and trying to figure out what the error message was actually telling me. But we probably should have figured it out that it was just a stupid threading bug on our end. A little
It's
earlier.
always threads.
So, yeah.
I think the beautiful thing about this is that threads are one of those things that feel deceptively simple, and so we just assumed the problem was somewhere else.
Indeed. Yeah, it's very simple to put this in here. So, we can play a little, see if you can spot the threading bug. I'm on the branch that does not have any fix here. So we were doing the while true loop, and then we were generating our file name with the current time. We would do the record off that, and then this was scheduling the recording. Then we would also this blocks, and then after that we would kick off a new thread, and we would run the Whisper code on that file name, and we would then try and detect the keywords on the Whisper output. So we're doing this in a thread so that we could immediately start recording the next piece here.
Right, so that we're not losing conversation while Whisper is recognizing the previous stuff.
Exactly. And so we started, we were trying, once you start throwing sleeps in, something's gone horribly wrong here.
You've already failed.
That made things a little bit better. But it doesn't obviously jump out what the issue is here. But Jeffrey, you want to, what did we do wrong?
Yeah, so basically the scoping of file name is the problem here. So we're assigning it on line 36, but then by the time Whisper Me is actually being called, it is being called after the file name has already been reset to the next thing on the next loop. And so we basically start trying to recognize a file that either hasn't had anything written yet or has had not enough written for FFmpeg to use it in a meaningful way. So FFmpeg, predictably and understandably, is not happy about that, and things fail.
And in our defense, it was kind of fascinating because what would happen in the failure case, right, was we would record this to this time, and then we would be trying to whisper on a file that didn't exist yet. But by the time the program crashed and we ran it, the file was there and the command did work. So it was quite perplexing.
So it did look like a race condition, and indeed, in retrospect, it sort of is, just different than we expected.
Super. Yes. So what was your fix here?
Well, my fix was the easiest thing possible, which is to extract the thread.new block to a method
Mm-hmm.
that accepts the file name. And so then that file name is sort of bound to the scope of that method. And, it doesn't matter that it's modified back in the vault true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to change under us in the method because of Ruby's, pass by value.
Yep. All right, so now we have a threaded whisper, and by passing this, it'll pass by value.
Yeah.
And
we can also delete our next IDE code because it turns out we're not using that.
that's good. All right, now I'm talking, and we're going to see what happens. And now I'm going to say something that does have a Greg in it. Is that our word?
No Greg there.
Excellent. So the word was not there in that one, but now I'm going to say Greg again.
And we found a Greg. So the processing time here is about 7 seconds. And I did a little bit of research into Whisper while I was making a different video for my YouTube channel where I'm detecting filler words and then playing an air horn. And I think that it makes sense to quickly swap out here Whisper for Whisper CPP, which is just a faster and optimized implementation of it.
I just can't not think of this while we're doing this. So yes, okay. So we had the timing here is 4, 6, 7 seconds, etc. So I'm gonna revert the changes here, and because I did have a branch that had this was a pretty small, but git checkout Whisper CPP. And the only difference here, is that we are running this Whisper CPP model. In order to install that, it was git clone cd into this project. Did this bashed download the model, and then make again with the base English one, which is the sort of better than the tiny bend focused on English.
Interesting. So does that make also do the download?
When I didn't have this, it didn't work because we were asking for the base EN model over here.
Whisper CPP is so much faster that going with the base model I think will give us better results, but still be wildly faster than the previous Whisper.
All right, and then I hard-coded this in just for fun, just for easiness here, the path to my Whisper CPP, but
makes sense.
I'm saying something with a Greg. And now I am saying something without the word.
Perfect. So Whisper CPP, as you can see, is very verbose, but the actual processing time there was wildly shorter.
Yeah, that is impressive. That's 10 times shorter. Yes. At first, I thought it was erroring terribly. I definitely looked at it. I was like, "Oh, this is not working at all." But it's just quite verbose.
And there actually is a warning on our record command, but so it's right here. I don't know if you can see where I'm drawing to our. Yeah. So that will show up and tell us, "Hey, there's some problem with the sample rate." I tried manually setting it to 48,000 instead, and then Whisper yelled at me because it didn't like the output format. So I'm just sort of living with that warning for now and letting it happen. We certainly could try to clean up the output here to be less verbose, but I don't know. That seems a little tangential to where we want to go.
This is a good time to call out our sponsor. It's only episode 2 here, but Jeffrey is using multi-app to draw on my screen and get this collaborative cursor stuff going, which we just tried yesterday, and it's been pretty fun so far. So we're going to keep trying that. Not really a paid sponsor.
Thanks, Multi.
Thanks, Multi. We'll make him pay next time. Okay. So, all right. So where do we think we want to take this today? Maybe we can go back to our plan.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think we've cleared our technical hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the always listening and recording. Again, we're doing that by starting the rec command. It's going to be listening constantly and recording to disk. When it hits a silence, it stops recording, and then it kicks off the whisper recognition in the background. So that's our incrementally doing the text recognition, which is great. So now I think we're ready to get to our detecting key phrases. We we had originally we're going to go with Hippo based on some old My Hippocampus project that Dwyer started forever ago. We then swapped to Greg for some reason, I guess, on a lark, as though it might be easier for the AI to pick up. I don't know what you actually want your virtual assistant to be named, Dwyer, but
I
it
feel
seems
like
like yes,
leaving
detecting
that
key
as a
phrases.
user configurable thing might be fun. If you are sort of a Succession fan, then you can say you can break your Tom. You can ask Greg to do it, and then
Okay.
could be
I
configurable.
haven't seen Succession, so I will just, in my mind, Greg is an old friend that I have, and I'll be very polite to him. I try to be very polite to AI, just in case if they rise up one day,
I am
I want them to remember me fondly.
deeply unsurprised to hear that, and I'm with you. I'm with you. It's no reason to be rude. Okay, so when we look at what we've actually got here, it's returning us these crying. I didn't hear any crying.
Amazing.
What do we do, Jeffrey? This is coming back, and it's just sort of on standard, and we have the results of this that we can obviously parse, but it's just coming back as a string, which makes me nervous. I feel like it should be some JSON or something.
Right. So Whisper, the original Whisper, the official OpenAI release, is primarily intended for creating captions from audio. So it generates like an SRT, VTT, and it does also do JSON. The Whisper CPP flavor, while much faster, is a much better Unix citizen, right? So it communicates primarily over standard out, standard error. So the nice thing about that is it's super composable in all your Unixy goodness. But for our purposes, we do need to sort of do some parsing here, or lean into the Whisper CPP command line arguments to have it output something that's more useful to us. And so you can kind of pick your poison here. Do you want to do some standard out parsing, or do you want to look into the export formats and see where we go from there?
I suppose export format seems a little more appropriate, but I haven't dug into it yet. Do you have a leaning?
Yeah, I think export format's fine. The trick is always weighing the performance upsides and downsides. For a toy app, it doesn't matter, right? But if we were trying to do this writ large, the whole writing to disk thing is a little it's a point where we could optimize it.
Oh, gotcha.
But let's not worry about that here. So if you can just copy your Whisper path up there that you've hard coded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And let's get a new terminal going. Right. So just pop that in, and then I think you want /main on the end, or you can CD in there. It doesn't matter.
Oops. All right. Main.
You may have to do the dot. Yeah. Okay. So there are approximately a million options here.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we do output result in a JSON file is -oj. Let's try that and run it against a file we've already recorded if we can.
If we can do that. Where are these guys saving? Are they? We put them in temp.
Oh, yes, they're in temp, and the output. We can actually look at where the file name is generated to see what the output should be. And we need one of the WAV files because Whisper CPP does not it does not run through FFmpeg, as best I can tell, and it's very specific about the kind of files that it wants. Okay, so that gave us a bunch of standard error stuff, but it did save our output to.
All right.
It looks like it's exactly the file name with a .json on the end. Does that make sense to you?
Ooh. Yep.
Oh wow! So it's got a lot of stuff here. Dwyer, you really need to be using FX. FX is the best way to interactively explore JSON. That's a free tip for you folks watching.
What are there any good YouTube short tutorials on using FX?
It's funny you should mention it. I've published one over on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@semanticart.
FX.
There you go.
Better than JQ?
God,
let's not watch ads together.
We don't really need to watch the video either.
Okay.
If you just brew install it,
right,
you'll be good to go.
I think maybe. All right.
The last time I tricked you into doing a brew install, it updated your entire system.
Well, this time it's only 30.
We're still getting Node somehow. Oh boy, hey, that wasn't so bad.
That was
all right. So if you just do, instead of more, just do FX and then that file name. Perfect. So the cool thing about this is you got your Vim movements. It also shows you the JSON path down in the bottom left.
No, that does.
So if you find something you want to target in on, perfect. Okay, so we have a transcription node. It has some timestamps, and apparently we picked a file that's just blank audio.
Very, very fair. Yeah, unsurprising.
Very useful.
Okay.
Right. So what we should be able to do is
we could JQ this or whoops, the other one. Or yeah, where are we at? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just figuring that we would read the file in Ruby, parse it as JSON, and then use that path to go through it. Yeah.
All right. So we want this this is Whisper has run our Whisper command, and then so we want to add
just putting the results.
We want to add
yes, we need to throw OJ in here. Maybe we can get sponsored by Tropicana for the next one.
I believe we probably could. All right. So that was the Whisper, and then detect keywords is probably we can probably go off the file name here or something.
Perfect. I agree. We do want to make sure we have our underscore there, though.
That's a good point. This could maybe be better as. Should we change the file name to put the prefix?
So I think it's just adding .json onto the end. And
it's got the .web. It's got the .web. Okay.
Yeah, so we can just append here.
Okay. So now we're going to do a JSON read something.
Yeah, so I think there may be a way to do this from JSON. YAML certainly has like the load directly from file, but I don't know that JSON does. I think we can do, text is json.parse and then a file.read. It's probably the best way to do that.
And we want, this is going to be the file name. Oops. File name. Something like
right
that.
on.
All right.
I think so. And then, right. So right now that's just going to be the giant JSON blob. I think we want to dig into it to get our transcript pieces. All right. So 0 tells us that this is an array.
Yeah.
So I think we actually want to map over it. So text, and then we'll do open square brace. It doesn't turn it into an object. Oh, you want text, not test. All right, and then in here in quotes we'll do within the square brace we want to do to access that transcription node. I think was the path that we had. Do you want to just paste the node above as a comment just so that we have it to correct to? Perfect. Okay. Cool. So then we can do a .map on that.
Yeah, gotcha. Super. Sorry.
Yeah. looks right to me. And so, yeah, we can just assign that to whatever.
All right. Stop here.
Yeah, and we can maybe join that on a new line character.
Oh, sure.
On line 42. Or, yeah, or there. Doesn't matter to me.
All right. Let's see where we screwed up. Okay, I'm saying something that has a Greg. Even though we're not checking for that word anymore.
Right, we're not even checking right now.
All right, that looks like it could be us.
I think that's us.
I think that's us.
Yes.
I didn't. Super. Okay, that looks good.
Lovely. So we may want to like join and trim and all of that, but in general, I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do it on this. It seems like it would be best to have it as
I think so. I don't think we'll get much value out of having the multiple lines.
Okay.
The multiple lines, as I said, Whisper sort of intended for generating captions. So these are lines with timestamps. But for our purposes, the timestamps don't really matter. We just want the content itself.
All right. And now we kind of want to figure out. So now that we're kind of at the place. I guess I'll just run this here just to verify we still have Greg capability. But all right, something that has a Greg and something with no word.
That's a Greg.
That's a Greg. No Greg. Okay.
Okay.
So now we want to kind of parse out. I guess maybe we should pick an actual phrase or something that we want to target.
Sure. I think so. I think there's sort of two pieces here. One is recognizing that we're addressing our assistant, our Greg.
Yep.
The other part is then finding what is being said to Greg. And I think for our naive purposes, it probably makes sense to identify Greg, and then anything after that, before our recording ends, we treat as our command to Greg, right? So
Yep.
since we stop recording after some silence, it certainly is possible you'd be like, "Hey, Greg, can you?" And then you pause to think too long, and we lose the command or whatever. But
Yep.
I think just as a toy here, treating the rest of the phrase as the command probably makes sense.
So we could split the text. Split. Maybe I'll downcase this puppy up here, just so we're all.
Sure.
And if we. All right, the split equals this, and then we will expect that the command equals the split one there.
That makes sense. Hop on it, Greg.
Greg, take a memo that I am out of coffee.
That kind of just works.
That kind of just works.
Obviously, the naive split here means that were you to address Greg twice in succession within that same recording window, we would only get one of those. But again, this is just a toy, so I don't think we need to optimize for that.
Yeah, it does seem like I've been doing stilted dialogue or something, but there's going to be a lot of tweaking of, I think, the options around the this guy here.
100%.
So,
and
we can't.
I'll mention that a lot of the delay in processing is that number 3 that you see on line 75. We're waiting for 3 seconds of non-talking to officially consider this ended. I think that's valuable in our case because, again, it will let us know, like, okay, you're done addressing Greg. We can now work with this. But whatever that time is, that's your built-in delay of it's going to take at least this long before the recognition starts.
I mean, in future, we could reduce that down a lot, and then we would but then stop evaluating. Right now, we're evaluating each block as a single thing and forgetting everything
Exactly.
previous. So we could build up a more long-running stream and try and sort of DIY.
Totally. I mean, certainly another thing you could do is just record a single file and then have a like rolling window of recognition. Then once you detect Greg, you work your way forwards from that. But anyway, yes, I like the simplification that we're doing here for the purposes of just like getting something working.
Yep. I think Greg, go get me more coffee.
Take a go get me more coffee. We didn't get a Greg there.
We didn't get a Greg. Greg, get me the coffee. No.
The no here is a wonderful hallucination. I love that sort of stuff.
I like the idea of a to-do list generator that also takes a hallucination. That also sometimes hallucinates
exactly.
to-dos.
The first hallucinogenic powered to-do list. All right.
Oh boy, that was
Wait. Can you go back to that one for a second?
Yep.
Laughs, crying. Yes. Okay. So here we didn't get our Greg.
Here's what Greg should do. Didn't quite work. What?
No. Can you scroll just a tiny bit? Sorry, in the main.rb. Okay, so we're not printing out our text anymore. Why don't we add that? That'll help us do a little debugging here. It's strange that. Oh, I guess the other thing we can do is look at that file, right? So we should have the file name in that. If we scroll up a little bit. There it is, saving output to down here.
But that, I mean, I think we know what's in that, right? Well, okay.
Well,
maybe not.
Probably.
Yeah, you're right. All right. What's this new program I use? FX?
FX. You can just do capital G to scroll down to the bottom, I think. Boom. Okay. Greg, give me the copy. So it looks like...
Didn't get our Greg.
Oh! You know what? You're not specifying your delimiter on split.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
So
wait,
what it's doing, I think...
I was splitting on the safe word.
Yes. Well, but it also looks like it's splitting on the new line, because I think what it's actually handling here is we have one line that ends with the word Greg. What if we just join on the space?
Yeah, I don't think. I may be doing both of them or some. Yeah, okay. All right. We're going back over. We're starting.
That might work better. In any event, we're putting out the text now too, so it'll help future.
Okay, so we just said something where I said Greg, and then I said, Greg, get me coffee.
Right.
My expectation here is that
that's weird.
That it was a little closer. Here's what Greg should do, and then I said, "Oh, it split on both the Gregs."
Right.
So
okay,
this was part 0. This bit here was part 1.
That's exactly it.
And this is part
so
2.
We can specify a limit on the split, which will the limit, I guess, in this case is 2.
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, wait. Jeffrey,
So
request control. Let's try our multi.
okay, yes, let's do it. I'm gonna hit control twice. Okay, requesting control.
All right. Oops. Allowing control.
All right. We're gonna do this as 2. And so my assertion is this should give us just the initial Greg on one side and then everything else on the other side. I've yielded control.
Oh, you can take all the control you want. Greg, do something. Greg, actually get me coffee.
Perfect.
Bada boom. Okay.
Okay, so let's actually implement something that Greg could feasibly do. Getting you coffee is probably a little bit beyond our means right now.
That's true.
You could ask Greg what time it is.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So, maybe I'm going to make a method very bad LLM and it takes a command.
Perfect.
And it takes a command, and if command include, or what do you think is there anything better
Yeah,
than just
sure.
Ursula
Includes what time is it?
That'll be pretty. The time at the beep will be beep. Okay. What's another good one? Else if the command includes to do. I added it.
Okay.
I don't know. Just something else.
Yeah. Let's give it a try.
All right. I'm just talking along, and I say, Greg, what time is it?
This is for people who want to know what time it is in a few seconds, I think.
Ha!
Hey, we got it.
We did it. All right. Now I'm talking along, and then I say, Greg, take it to do that I should get milk.
Oh, that didn't seem to do the thing, or maybe I missed it.
It to space do is not the same as to
Yes.
do.
No, but it's understandable.
Yep, that's fine. All right, so now we've got the beep. We could implement your detector. Greg could.
Yes, that actually migrated its way over in the prompt that we're passing to Whisper, so we can delete that here too to clean up a little bit. Yes, the prompt on that line right there, 26. You just delete that.
All right.
So we could also change that to something Greg related, but the prompt can make hallucination worse. Sometimes Whisper will hallucinate your prompt into it. So I think we might want to leave it blank here, lest Whisper thinks we're really excited about Greg. Another thing that we could do is, I don't know if we can hear your audio through this, but we could change the time thing to actually use the max say command to announce the time, get a whole Big Ben thing going.
Yeah. System.
Yeah, you just want say, and then everything after that, it should be timed out now, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I guess I want this to be. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know whether... Greg, what time is it?
The time at the beep will be February 9th, 2024, 11 hours, 34 minutes, and 43 seconds minus 0500 beep.
It did it!
Yay!
All right, that's satisfying. Hmm.
Yes, I don't think it will be winning any, awards anytime soon, but we've created something that does a useful thing.
We have created something that does a useful thing. Whenever I want, I can just say, Greg, what time is it? And
a few seconds later,
only a few seconds later, I will know what time it is.
You should be wearing Greg on your wrist instead of a watch.
The time at the beep will be February 9th, 2024, 11 hours, 35 minutes, and 32 seconds minus 0500 beep.
Okay. So we could... I feel like... let's go. We figured out a bunch more things here, but let's go back to our plan. It feels to me like we certainly have the capability to do these kind of one-off tasks here.
Absolutely.
We're kind of in the zone where I want to give our very bad LLM functions. Our very bad LLM is has different functions that it can do to me, which is one is it knows how to say the time, and then it would be fun to do something more like our to-do list as things that it can recognize. I guess one direction we could do is trying to make this less bad and more flexible. The other direction we could go is trying to just actually add functions that we think are interesting and useful.
Yeah, do you have a preference on that?
Have you thought at all about what about the data storage for a to-do list and how we want to do it? I guess my original thought here was that I could take a bunch of to-dos and then the one other command would be like, Greg, what are my to-dos? And then they could tell me my to-dos. So,
it might be fun to implement that. I think the easiest way we could do it is to sort of treat it like plain text to-do list, where maybe we use like a markdown checklist style syntax, the dash and then the open square brace. Actually, let me talk for a second. So we could do. Hold on. Okay, yeah.
You're good.
So we could do something like dash open square brace.
Yep.
Oh, I lost focus.
Yeah, I give it back to you.
Okay, this is unchecked, and then this is done. Something to that effect. And then I think with this simple sort of approach, we could have easily a list of things that are done or not done. It's very easy for us to parse in a very straightforward way. And I think we could also have, it's easy to parse for readability as well, for Greg to announce it to you. And we could also do something where we have a command that is like, Greg, complete, this is unchecked.
Ooh, that's good.
Better name here.
We have multiple to-do lists too. We could have a grocery list and a grocery markdown and a work to-do list and a work one. So it could be multiple lists. But okay, I like the idea of Greg marking things done.
That feels useful. So adding things and marking things done feels like the most useful. And I guess reading the list.
And reading the list back. Yep. We could not even write it to a markdown file at all. We could just do it in memory and take that step out. I don't know whether that matters or not.
Yes, I mean that certainly is possible.
It'll saving our list between things may make our loop a little faster. If I have to add 3 things to the list each time, that's going to be a bit of a
totally. Well, and I think it's sort of an interesting path for exploration anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah,
we can make like a file that's just for parsing these files, and it has a method for adding to a list, and a method for checking something off, and a method for just returning the plain text of the items so that you can announce them.
All right, I'm sort of tempted to start an actual class for this, rather
I think
than
that's a good choice at this point.
We've gone long enough without an actual class besides my main one here. So if we were gonna do, it's a to-do list.
Sure.
Okay. And yeah, maybe.
I probably would start. Go ahead.
Well, I guess, yeah, maybe if you want to, what methods does this thing have, or like how do we want to use it? I feel like we can start with just figuring out
Absolutely.
methods.
So
Yeah.
I think the class should probably have an initializer that takes a file name.
Mm-hmm.
And that file name will be the path to our to-do list. I love that we're bucking convention and going with file name as one word here with no underscore.
No, we won't.
Uh,
Yep.
I know that foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds, but clown naming is also its own problem.
Clown naming. I think you've invented something brilliant today.
So I think the to-do, we could really go wild here and have a class that is like to-do item, and the to-do item has text, and then it has a complete or incomplete state.
Classes are free.
Classes are free
Yeah.
until the liberals take them away from us. That's a joke.
That's a joke, everybody.
Don't cancel me. Okay, the whole cancellation thing is also a joke. I regret everything.
Stop digging, Jeffrey. Stop digging.
No, I know.
Yep, it's fine. Okay, so this sets state to undone. Sets done to false. Sets the day into false. It's sort of a Hamlet thing. And the text.
Yeah, it'll take like a task name or
Task.
Yeah, text is fine.
Let's call it task.
Perfect.
Okay.
And so I think maybe it makes the most sense to create a new to-do file with the structure that we want, and then make sure that we can parse it.
Sure. Good idea. Okay.
Yeah, so let's just make like a new. You can even make a markdown file. It doesn't really matter, but
And we'll just call it grocery list. Okay. And apples. And apples, pears, and coffee. And coffee is already done, maybe.
perfect. Love it. Yeah, so let's parse this out.
Okay. Yeah, what do we have for markdown?
I think we could just read it line-wise.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think it's. There certainly are things out there that will do that, but this is such a simple format that I'm not too worried about it.
From file, I guess. Oh, you think this will initialize based on the file and we'll read it out? Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Yep. All right, so this takes the file name, and then we are going to. Right. So we'll get
I would probably do read lines here, but
that's
you
good.
could also split.
I just have to Google every time I try to open a file in any programming language after 25
No,
minutes.
I feel that deeply.
It would be neat if that were a thing. Ooh, here we go. Well, we could try that. There's the to-dos.
Yeah, we probably want to. we could do we could do so the to-do list item, I guess, could also implement its own like parse method for parsing a single line, but I don't know how deep down this rabbit hole we want to go. Probably the easiest thing to do here is to do like oh, I don't think we want to make that a class variable.
No?
No, I mean, you can put it in the initializer, I guess, but
Yeah, sorry.
yes. So I think, yeah, maybe it's text.map, and then, you know what? I do want to put this in the to-do list item. Let's do that. So we'll do a map. We'll get the line, and then we'll do to-do list item dot parse.
And we can just set our to-do list item.
Yes.
Okay.
Jar, are you familiar with the George Michael song Freedom?
No.
Okay. Well, there's this line in there. It says, all we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. And every
That's
time
software engineering.
in software, exactly. We write the method we wish we had.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. And then we make that lie to the truth. It could be your TDD or just like your refactoring or you know, just software design. I love it.
Yeah. That is 100% it. All right, so a line is going to look something, it's going to look like this.
Yep. Maybe there's an X in that box.
Yeah, if I just include yeah.
Yes. Let me make a suggestion.
Yeah.
I would probably split on the closing square brace, and then we know that maybe closing square brace space. Then we know that, oh, wow, that's interesting.
Okay, what is that? Let's just see. Sometimes I can never get it back.
Think about that. Yeah, no, I know. So yes, if we do a line.split and we do square, and then let's have space after that too, just so we don't have to later deal with that space. And before that, we can do, let's call it like prefix, comma, and then task equals. So now we've broken these out into two different things. So yes, now done is going to be, does the prefix include open square and then X? We'll have to lose the closing square there because we're split on it. A couple other things. I think we want to make this a class method.
Yep.
So self.parse, and we'll return a to-do list item. Yeah, and then we can, oh, you want a dot before the P there in parse?
Yep. And so it may actually it'll send in done task. Whoops. How do you feel about this?
I feel good if we modify this to take it done. And yeah, I think that works.
Should I assign them to the wrong ones or the right ones? That's the question.
I find that if you go ahead and assign the right ones, you save time later, but sometimes it's about the journey.
Okay, and now we
That seems useful.
so now we're hoping we should be able to just do ooh, we need like a print method or something.
Yeah, and we could also, yeah, that's fine. That seems reasonable.
Dot map. Ooh, yeah. Is this silly?
No, I like this.
Um,
But what the funny thing is, we're going to eventually want like a 2S method here that dumps out the markdown again.
yeah.
But this is sort of like our inspect method, more or less, I guess.
Is okay. I did a thing, and now theoretically I could do to-do list dot new of the shop grocery list.
I think you call it grocery list MD.
And I could just put that.
It's mad about something.
To-do list item. Oh, it doesn't know what that file is.
Yeah, we'll need to require that. Or require relative or something in there.
Yeah, this will take the rest of our time.
Yeah, let's do require relative. Okay, well that didn't work. I think it calls inspect maybe by default. Oh, hold on.
Inspect.
Well, we can call 2S at the end where we're actually doing the puts too.
Sure.
Hey.
Wait.
Copy is not done though. I thought copy was done. Can we look at the grocery list, just double check? Yes, copy should be done.
Little X.
Oh, it's a little X.
A little X.
It's a little guy.
Little guy. I guess we're in charge of this.
Yeah, if this is only ever written to by the machine, we're good. We could also obviously downcase and hey. Love it. Okay.
Love it.
So now we're able to parse these out. So we can go ahead and implement our, Greg readme max. Greg, what's on the to-do list, or however we want to phrase that.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a good way to close things out here.
All right. Yep. Got that. And detect keywords. Very bad LLM. All right. If well, I'm just gonna say to-do list right now, and we're gonna say the. We get it. And go for that. And maybe that'll work.
Sure. It could.
It could. It could work.
That's always my goal when I'm doing live coding, is to have something that has the potential to work.
Greg, what time is it? Greg, what is my to-do list?
Okay, great instead of Greg. That's interesting.
Oh, now we got two do list.
Yes. So I think long term what we want is some sort of mapping of regular expressions to some kind of command object or something, right? And then we filter out in our very bad LLM, we iterate over the things and find the one that. Yep.
Kind of like this.
Right. So right now we're just in this hell. But yes, later we could have like a good regular expression or something. You're going to need to use the parens here. I know you're a paren-hating Rubyist, but...
We'll make a little consistency here. I don't need that one. All right.
I gave up on optional parens a while back, just because they make this sort of refactoring or adding in new stuff and that sort of thing a little annoying.
Greg, put it on my... Greg, what is my to-do list? Craig, what time is it?
Oh, I got Craig that time.
Greg, what time is it?
Game time.
It's game time.
That's fantastic. I will mention there is a wonderful SNL sketch with it's Amazon's Alexa for seniors, and the idea is that they can't remember her name, so they keep calling her, various things. But she'll respond to any name that remotely sounds like Alexa, and I think we'll eventually have Craig and Greg and whatever.
100%.
Amazon Echo has
This is the
everyone asking
Amazon
Alexa
Echo
for help.
Alexa Silver.
So what time is it? What the hell is wrong with this blasted thing?
Amanda,
The
yeah.
latest technology isn't
Yeah.
always
Keenan
easy to
Thompson
use
is a
for
treasure.
people of a certain age.
He's carried SNL in a lot of ways, I think.
All right,
Yes.
I think we've done amazing work today.
I feel good about it, and I feel like we can either continue down this path next time, or maybe we'll come up with a better idea. But we built something that's genuinely useful with some off-the-shelf AI tools, and it feels neat.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think slow improvements to this. I could probably actually find my way to something that I might actually use here.
Absolutely.
It's flexible. Pretty cool. All right.
on.
Thank you so much.
Likewise, have a good one.
Yep. All right.